I got it bad, and that ain't good. I wrote this one after I was, the first time I ever was involved in it. I was very naive at the time. The first guy that ever gave me money for doing what I do was a Northern English comedian who's got a very bad reputation. He's dead now. You know, he's sadly, you know, but he had a special place, a guy called Bernard Manning, and he had a special place in my heart because he's the first guy that ever gave me cash money for doing what I do. But I'll never forget the first night there. I was waiting to get paid outside his office, and he was chewing out one of the previous acts. I think he was giving him his papers. He said to him, it finished, the conversation ended with the line, "When you said you were going to saw a woman in half, I had assumed that you were a magician." Tough gig. Tough gig. Punk rockers, I fucking shit them. But I've got this new gig as Keith Richards' decoy. It's tougher than I thought it would be. It's a hard road. It's a fucking hard road, you know what I'm fucking saying. So anyway, listen though, but this is when I first met anybody, guys that dressed up like women. They all loved Bernard's acts for some reason. He abused them, you know, he cast doubts up on their virility and all that sort of thing. But they loved him for it, you know what I mean? He was a vicious, but very, in his way, a public folk hero in my book, because he was the first guy to give me cash money for doing what I did. You know, people used to, back in the punk days, you know, a great insult in England was, you know, if he got any money for any reason at all, he sold out. He sold out. Somebody gave him some money for some reason, and he took it. He took that money. Well, that was some kind of big ideological breakdown for some people.
No, it was really bad.
But I was a bit. It was a terrible thing. It was the worst thing you could possibly do. But that's why I got into the business in the first place, in order to sell out. You can't sell out if nobody knows who the fuck you are. That's my whole fucking idea. A few people will know who I am, and then I'll sell out when somebody wants to endorse something. I thought I'll make a rule. No, I thought I'll make a rule. I won't endorse anything that I wouldn't have myself. Which is why I'm now the voice in the UK. I'm now the voice of Domino's Pizza. And, I'm proud of that. I wouldn't ask you to eat nothing what I wouldn't eat, and many a time I have a Domino's Pizza. What can go wrong? You can choose your own toppings. If it ain't any good, it's your fault. I'm right behind that product, so I'm now the voice of Domino's Pizza. But don't knock me. Don't knock me, because Domino's Pizza sponsored The Simpsons. So I like to think I've chipped into the betterment of society by a very circumspect route. If you see what I mean. Anyway, where was we going with this? Oh yeah, so anyway, this is the first time I ever met transsexual types, you know, and it was a bit wide awake for me, you know, people like Foo La Man. And then I didn't think about it for years. And then we got this programme in England called GMTV, Good Morning Television, it actually stands for. But I used to believe it stood for Give Me the Valium. But then I was on it, and then I had got the idea it stands for Genetically Modified Transvestite. Because every morning they have somebody like that's had the big snip, believing it would unlock the doors to paradise, only to tragically discover that they have merely opened a Pandora's box of problems that they didn't see coming in the first place. His birth certificate still says Mr. The protrusive nature of the male larynx is beyond the help of any throat surgeon. He's got size 17 feet and it's beyond the help of any chiropodist. For some reason it never makes them happy. And you see the before and after pictures, and it's never some Nancy boy going in there worried about their gender. It's always some 27 stone truck driver that has to shave 5 times a day in order to look like he needs a shave. So this one's called, anyway, Crossing the Floor. Crossing the Floor, I hope you can understand. Crossing the Floor is in England, that means leaving the Labour Party in order to join the Conservative Party, or vice versa. Only in this case it's in the gender-related sense of the term, meaning leaving the male sex in order to join the female sex. I was going to say or vice versa, but I noticed there's not much traffic in the opposite direction. So here it is, crossing the floor like this. Sick of picking up all of these checks, putting up shelves, wearing these checks. I want to be one of the weaker sex. I'm crossing the floor. The darts team are going to show me the door. The barbers, the bookies, the B&Q. I was a geezer just like you. It started with a handbag, now I got to get the shoes. Crossing the floor. I'm not exactly Diana Dawes. I'm trapped in a man's body. I feel like Madonna, but I look like Belody. I feel like the Shirelles, but I look like Shawaddy Waddy. Crossing the floor. I'm unhappy and that's against the law. I lost my holiday money for the nylon setup. It isn't funny, some weirdo calls me honey. Crossing the floor and give it a go, you never know anymore. Well, bye-bye Boddington's yellow shorts. I wear size 9 kitten heel coats. I'm gonna get a vagina of sorts. Crossing the floor, all that glitters ain't Zaza Gabor.